I did not have hot take anime YouTuber on my 2024 manifestation list. All I said was I did not care much for Angel's Egg, but I see why people like it. And I got loads of great feedback from the welcoming and rational anime community, so fuck it, let's continue this train. Perfect Blue, never seen it. Gonna take my Saturday morning and ingest this so-called classic and level it to the ground with some reasonable criticism and nuanced analysis. Satoshi Kon, more like Satoshi, can you make a movie? Yeah, he can. I'll begin my tirade by saying the obvious thing right off the bat. Perfect Blue made me incredibly goddamn uncomfortable, and I loved every fucking second of it. Perfect Blue is a mystery, and a really good one at that. I'm a sucker for psychological twists and turns, and Satoshi Kon made a narrative masterwork here. One that leaves you consistently guessing the entire runtime of 121 minutes, which definitely feels longer than that. I looked at my watch multiple times during this and was just baffled at how much time had not passed. Obsession is a major theme, as can be expected from knowing the plot revolves around a pop idol, especially toward the beginning of the film, and lingering almost cloyingly towards the end, is a sense of being watched, observed. One of the things I wrote down in my notes is not having a sense of privacy, which paid off for me toward the end in my own deductions. If I'm watching a mystery film, I almost always pull out a document and start taking notes, or mentally just noting things down, almost by habit. Whoever the enemy in this is, they are obsessed. I immediately wrote down the first culprit that logically came to my mind. I'm saying 90% sure it's this person. I was wrong. The other themes I wrote down almost immediately after that were everyone is a threat, being left behind, and your future is not your own. Once again, this movie is about pop idols in Japan, and fully realizes this with a narrative arc that puts you through the gamut of emotion that comes with being in the spotlight. Mima, our main character, is put through a series of choices that many idols and generally a lot of performers go through, and her own determination is questioned. It's almost too easy to relate to from my standpoint. I was a child actor. I don't talk about it much for similar reasons. At every turn of this film, someone is looking at Mima and saying, I know what's better for you. And that resonates with me. When the shit inevitably started hitting the fan, I started pointing fingers in my notes. Everyone around this girl is a threat. I wrote down another possible culprit. I was wrong. During all of this, the direction and composition is beautiful. The framing of Mima's life is elegantly juxtaposed between the reality of her day-to-day career and the obsession and delusion that appears to be haunting her. You start to not trust the visual in front of you. The timeline starts to make less and less sense. Mima's decisions are questioned more and more, and the nagging feeling of being watched does not go away and continues to grow. Is Mima really her? Her sense of identity might be a little fractured. I go to my notes and make another assumption about the culprit. I am wrong again. Duality is another theme I found heavily present in Perfect Blue, starting almost immediately from the title card. The relief we see isn't even really there, merely the shadows of the film's title giving us an insight into what the letters actually say. There's something to be said for this into the acting career of Mima, who at a certain point begins to blur the line between reality and fiction. Again, you start to distrust everything you're seeing as this film goes on. Perhaps Mima is actualizing her own internal criticism and everything is not as it seems. I write down another possible culprit, once again incorrect. The sound design and music also play into this miasma of discomfort. At one point, you're hearing catchy pop songs that suddenly cut into complete silence, and then you're left with Masahiro Ikumi's eerie soundscapes that only add to an unsettling feeling of things just generally not being okay. Anxiety-inducing, to say the least. I think back to sound cues, and I start to wonder if I'm never right. Am I? I'm never right. As we finally arrive to the conclusion of the film, which I was not expecting at all, the final half an hour-ish of this movie plays 4D chess with the viewer's own internal logic. Every minute you think you've got it figured out, this solution, this culprit, this set of events makes sense. Suddenly, a reveal, a full moment of clarity into this mystery that suddenly is invalidated. The entire through line invalidated. Guess what? Juked you again. That wasn't real either. During this, however, the layers of reality start to peel off, and the truth is revealed bit by bit, piece by piece. The final resolution of this mystery is so satisfying. I can see where people might sit there and wonder as the climax of this film reels in front of you, culminating in a terrifying chase that I have fully shown you bits and pieces of and not spoiled anything. Perfect Blue is one of my favorite anime films of all time now because, maddeningly enough, I was right the entire time. Thank you all so much for watching. This video was brought to you by Audible once again, and if possible, the actual copies of Perfect Blue that you can order with my referral link through the description below. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.